Welcome to Tech Savvy 101, AI and Automation Made Simple. Hi, I'm Sarah Baker, your new Tech Savvy bestie. I'm a technology and automation coach, an online business owner, and a crazy busy mom of 3 kids under 10. Whether you're just starting to explore AI or you're ready to level up your tech game, I'm here to help make it all feel absolutely doable. No complicated jargon, no endless tutorials, just shortcuts and simple solutions that you can start using in your business right away. So, if you're ready to start saving hours every day with smart systems and AI tools, you're in the right place. Let's get started.
Hey there, and welcome back to Tech Savvy 101 AI and Automation Made Simple, the podcast that's here to help you streamline systems, embrace AI, and build a business that works for you. I'm your host, Sarah Baker, business coach, tech enthusiast, and someone who once spent way too many hours wondering why my emails weren't getting opened. Does that sound familiar? Well, in today's episode, we're fixing that. Whether you're an email marketing pro or just starting to build your list, today's episode is packed with practical tips that you can use right away. Here's what to expect from today's episode. We're diving into the top 3 email automations every business owner needs. I'll break down how these automations save you time, keep your audience engaged, and help drive revenue, even while you're sleeping. Make sure to subscribe so you don't miss future episodes, and leave a review if today's episode inspires you to streamline your email marketing. So if you're ready to make email marketing finally work for you, stick around. This episode is packed with actionable tips. Let's dive right in and start with the big question, which is always, does email marketing still work? Yes, and here's why. Emails have an ROI, or a return on investment, of 4,200%. That is 4,200%. Which translates into $42 earned for every $1 spent. People check their inboxes daily, and 60% of consumers say email is their preferred communication channel for business updates. Unlike social media, where algorithms are always changing, you own your email list. It is your direct line to your audience that no one can take away from you. I'm recording this episode in January of 2025, and within the last week, TikTok went dark. There was no clear answer on if or when it would be back. While most people were discussing losing a social media platform, my immediate thought went to how many of these content creators and people who are monetizing TikTok don't have another way to contact their followers. If you lost your social media overnight, would your business survive? And if your answer is no, then you absolutely need to start building your email list right now. I couldn't help but think of all of the creators who had hundreds of thousands or even millions of followers. How many of them had taken the time to collect email addresses and drive those followers to a platform that they controlled? I also started to wonder, as I went down the what happens if TikTok goes away rabbit hole, I started to wonder how much money all of these creators on TikTok were leaving on the table if they weren't collecting email addresses. It's unpredictable how often or easily you're even getting your content in front of your followers. But with emails, you can track that data. You can see who's opening, you can see who's reading, you can see who's clicking, and you can retarget those people to close the sale. But if you're constantly relying on a platform you don't have control of, you're absolutely leaving money on the table. Email marketing isn't dead. It just needs to be done right. And that is the biggest misunderstanding or misconception. Every business needs an email list. It is not a substitution for even the biggest of social media followings. And now we're going to break down exactly how to get started with that. First off, you must be tracking your email marketing statistics. If you are not watching the data, again, you are leaving money on the table. You need to be looking at the following data. Open rate. The average email open rate for email marketing campaigns is about 20 to 25%, according to OmniSend. And click-through rate, which is when someone actually opens your email, reads it, and clicks on a link inside of your email. On average, email campaigns see a click-through rate of about 1.5%. Other factors to consider include personalization. Personalized emails see a 26% increase in open rates You've probably seen this in your own inbox. If you get an email that has, Sarah, did you see this in the subject line? Or insert your first name. Did you see this in the subject line? That is a personalized email. Are you more likely to open it? I know I am. Additionally, and here are the stats that we really need to be paying attention to regarding how we can automate this. Automated email campaigns achieve an average open rate of 42.1%. And if you remember, the average open rate is about 20 to 25%. So that is a significant jump. Automated email campaigns also see an average click rate of 5.4%, which is a huge increase compared to the average of 1.5% for non-automated emails. This really emphasizes how important it is for increasing engagement with your followers. The number one thing I hear from clients and students of mine about why they're inconsistent with emailing their list: I can't afford the time and effort of manual email marketing. Over and over, that's the same consistent response I get. But this is why automation is essential. Because, my friend, you cannot afford not to be emailing your list. But it doesn't have to take up endless hours of your day or week. Here's a little personal story for you. When I very first started my online business, before I had discovered the power of automations, I was right there too. I was so focused on growing my list because that was what I was hearing from everyone. Grow your list, add people to your list. The actual effort of nurturing that list, the people who truly opted in to be on my list, it fell off my radar. I wasn't reaching out consistently. I was so focused on adding more and the number and the size of my list and posting constantly on social media because at the time I had been told, oh, post 2 or 3 times a day. That's a whole different conversation that we'll have in a different episode. But guess what happened? My list went cold. If people who are on your email list aren't hearing from you consistently, the next time you pop up in their inbox, their reaction is going to be, Sarah, who? And they're more likely to unsubscribe. For me personally, my list wasn't just cold, it was like sub-zero. In the end, I ended up losing out on over 2,000 contacts when I had to purge my list. These were people who were not opening my emails, who were not clicking on anything, and my list health had declined because of it. So many of my students also tell me that they're afraid of sending too many emails and bothering people. To which I respond, these are people who opted in to your list. They want to hear from you. They want to know what you're selling. But you have to get in front of them consistently, because what happens is when those people who are on your list are ready to purchase, they're going to purchase from the first name that pops into their head. And if that's not you, because you're showing up inconsistently and not reminding them of the value that you have to provide, that is a lost opportunity. The people on your list can choose to not be on your list at any time because you have that handy little unsubscribe button right at the bottom of all of your emails. But if you are too intimidated to even email them consistently and toot your own horn and talk about the things you have to offer, they're not going to buy from you. So the question becomes, how do you fix this? By sending consistent emails and reminding them of who you are, what value you can provide, and staying in that front of mind position. I hear you asking, well, how do I remain consistent with sending emails? And the answer is automation. Here are just a few stats about how automation can transform your business and marketing. 1 in 3 people who click on an automated message make a purchase. And this statistic really blows my mind. In 2023, automated emails accounted for 41% of all email orders from only 2% of email sends. So while the vast majority of the emails that were sent were not automated, they accounted for almost half of all orders. That is the power of automated emails. Email automation is a strategy that only is used by 58% of businesses. So if you are in that 42% who is not automating, it's time to get on board. So what are the 3 automated email types that you must implement within your business? Let's get right to them. The first is a welcome sequence. This is a series of emails. It could be varying numbers of emails depending on your business type that subscribers receive immediately after joining your email list. I guarantee you have received this before. You opted into something, someone's either freebie or maybe you signed up with the company to get a discount code on their website. The second they collect that email, they are sending you a welcome email, whether it's a reminder of what your discount code is or delivering a freebie that you opted in for. That immediate email is the beginning of your welcome sequence. This is your chance to make a great first impression and set the tone for the relationship you're going to have with this new subscriber. And why is a welcome sequence so important? When someone joins your email list, that is when they are the hottest. That is your opportunity to get right in there, introduce yourself, and remind them of why they want to be part of your list. Subscribers are most engaged in the first 48 hours after signing up. And businesses see up to a 50% open rate on welcome emails, according to HubSpot, which is significantly higher than the industry standard of 20 to 25% for an open rate. So what do you put in your welcome sequence? The very first email is delivering whatever they opted in for. Like I said, whether it's a freebie or a discount code or whatever other reason they've joined your list, that immediate email 1 is delivering that item. Email 2 is normally when you would welcome them and introduce yourself. You would normally send it about 24 hours after that first email. Some people opt to send it sooner and some people opt to send it later. The time between emails is truly up to you and also depends on your industry. Email number 3 is normally where you would share your story or highlight your brand's mission. Start building trust with that new subscriber to your list. And then the 4th email is typically when you would introduce your first offer. Again, this varies depending on what they opted into and why they opted in. Obviously, if someone has opted in for a discount code, they're ready to purchase right now. They were already on your website. So waiting until email 4 to start talking about your first offer may not make sense. This is a pretty standard welcome sequence. And all of this can be automated using your email service provider. I personally recommend Side Hustle Pro Kit. That is the all-in-one tool that I use, and I will put a link to it in the show notes. The second automated email sequence that you must have in your business is an abandoned cart sequence. I am positive that you have also received this before. Anytime you've been on a company's website and started to enter your information but didn't finish the checkout, they are able to capture that information and reach out to you to try to bring you back in to close the sale. We've all gotten the email, "Hey, Sarah, are you still interested in that thing you were looking for on our website?" Or, "Oops, you forgot to check out. Come back and check out with this 15% off discount." This is so important because it is the difference between leaving money on the table or recovering that revenue. Studies show that 70% of online carts are abandoned, but abandoned cart emails can recover 10 to 15% of that lost revenue. So what do you put in your abandoned cart sequence? The first reminder is typically a friendly, "Hey, did you forget something? Your cart is waiting for you." Email 2, you're going to add a little bit more urgency. "Hurry, your items are selling fast. Grab them before they're gone." Obviously use authentic urgency though. So if the item that they were looking at doesn't go out of stock, use a different tactic. And the last email in an abandoned cart sequence is typically when you're sweetening the deal with a little bit of discount or bonus to get them to come in and check out. "Here's 10% off to complete your purchase." How far apart you space these is going to be a lot tighter than you would for a welcome sequence. That first friendly reminder could go out as soon as 30 to 45 minutes after they've abandoned their cart. Email 2 is probably 6 or so hours later, maybe the next day. And email 3, probably the same day as that. Again, these are averages, and it will depend greatly on what you're selling, what the price point is, who your audience is, and what your business is. The last automated email sequence that you must have within your business is a re-engagement sequence. As I mentioned at the beginning of this episode, when I failed to nurture my list and ended up having to purge my list of over 2,000 contacts, it hurt. This was a classic first-time business owner mistake here. But if I had caught on to the fact that my audience was going cold sooner, I could have utilized a re-engagement sequence. By the time I figured it out, it had been so long that we were really past the point of a re-engagement sequence being effective. But the key here is to keep a close eye on your email data. All email service providers will provide you with your own email marketing stats. We're talking about the figures we spoke about at the beginning of this episode: open rates, click-through rates. And you should also be able to filter and sort this information by specific email or by campaign type if you're doing a sale. So what do you do when your email open rate is dropping, aside from the obvious, of course, to continue to add great leads to your list? Enter the re-engagement sequence. This is designed to win back inactive subscribers who haven't opened your emails in a while. This is so important because it keeps your email list healthy by reducing the dead weight. It also improves your deliverability rates by focusing on engaged subscribers. Email service providers like Gmail like to see emails that get opened. So if your list has a very high rate of people who are not opening your emails, it can actually hurt your deliverability in the long run. And according to Campaign Monitor, statistics show that 45% of recipients who receive re-engagement emails read the subsequent messages. So what do you put in a re-engagement sequence and when do you send it? An example of a re-engagement sequence could be as simple as 2 or 3 emails. The first one, you would remind them why they joined your list. Hey, we missed you. Here's what you've been missing. Email 2, you're going to offer a valuable resource or some exclusive content. An example could be, here's a free training to get you back on track. Or if you're a storefront or a shop, here's 10% discount. Come on back. And email 3, you're going to confirm their interest. Still interested in whatever you sell? Let us know by clicking here. By the end of the re-engagement sequence, if the emails are still not being opened or clicked on, the reality is that that subscriber might have gone cold. What you want to be able to do with your email service provider is segment and tag your list to filter out inactive subscribers who don't re-engage. This keeps your list lean and active. A standard rule of thumb is to do a full list clean about every quarter to maybe every 6 months, depending on the size of your list. I was recently listening to another podcast where the host talked about having re-engagement sequences that go out at 30 days, 60 days, 90 days, and 120 days. It is never too early to start reminding people of why they are on your list. If you wait too long, it might be harder to bring them back. These 3 automations, welcome sequence, abandoned cart sequence, and re-engagement sequences, are absolutely essential for every business. Whether you're an online business, a service provider, a brick and mortar storefront, or the size of your business. They save time, nurture your audience, and drive revenue on autopilot. If today's episode inspired you to simplify your email marketing, make sure to subscribe and leave a review. And if you're ready to start setting up these automations, check out the show notes for my favorite email tool, Side Hustle Pro Kit.
Thanks for tuning in to Tech Savvy 101, AI and Automation Made Easy. If today's episode made tech a little less intimidating for you, I would be so grateful if you'd leave a review and let me know what you loved. Don't forget to check out the show notes for links to any resources I mentioned today. Be sure to follow Tech Savvy 101 wherever you get your podcasts so you never miss an episode. Tune in for AI in Action on Tuesdays for quick, practical AI tips, and join me on Thursdays for full-length episodes. Until next time, keep shattering that tech ceiling.